Hi, welcome back to Gaming for Gamers. And here we are back in London, and we're in front of the Tower of London. There you go. You must have seen that if you're not from the UK. You've probably seen that on postcards or in movies. And so there we are in front of the Tower of London. Anyway, that's not the point of this video. So today I'm going to make a very short video about something I've seen pop up quite recently, a few times, different games on channels I've been watching, which is that gaming companies who will suddenly change a agreement or the procedures to play a game, which can be many things. It can be they suddenly change the fact you need to sign into a network, the fact you need to pay a different amount of money to play it, the fact they split season passes into different things and you have to pay for both, the fact they add extra content that you need to play. It doesn't matter. But they'll suddenly think of a thing to do that means basically that if you're playing it, you need to spend more money or do something different to what you wouldn't have needed to do when you bought the game. And one of the things that I've seen online from different people is this idea that, they must really understand that they're going to get in trouble when they do these things, the gaming companies, because surely they see that there's going to be a backlash. And I was like thinking, well, of course they see, and I'll tell you exactly how I thought this. Gaming companies, especially AAA gaming companies, are not stupid, not in the slightest. Whatever they do, they're not stupid. We know from history of gaming in the last 10 years how many games from almost every AAA company have been released in shitty states, bad character mods, bad voice acting, bad plots, bad missions, bad combat, janky, not what they said, graphics weren't what they said, everything under the sun. And so we know that video game publishers in general don't have any real feeling about releasing rubbish, and they don't have any pride in the things they do release, and they don't care how it looks as long as they make money. I mean, they release games that people have pre-purchased and they don't care that they're rubbish because they've got the money for pre-purchasing, etc, etc. So we know that they don't care. So we already know that. That's not a question. Do video game companies care about their consumers? No, they don't. They have no interest. If they think they could get money for anything, they would do it. So, but they're smart. They have marketing people, they have lawyers. And so all the things they do, however outrageous it seems and shocking, where they suddenly change something, there's a big backlash and everyone suddenly goes on Steam or whatever and they give it all negative reviews, of course they knew that would happen. Because of course they did. They have lawyers that advise them, they have marketing people that advise them. Lots of the things they do have already been, because they think ahead, they've been planned by the developers of the game while they were making the game, that how that 3 years down the line or 1 year down the line they would do this and change it, because they think ahead. And what it is, if you think of it, the lawyer thing is the important part, because one thing that people do in the law, solicitors, if you go to court and it's a monetarised claim, they will go asking for a certain amount of money. No, they won't get it. And they'll negotiate down to another amount of money, but that's what they would accept in the first place. It's a bit like going to a market or haggling about anything in life. People will ask for a certain amount and you'll barter them down to the amount you actually wanted in the first place, but it makes that person feel like they're getting a better deal. And that's what video game companies are doing. They know exactly what they're doing. They release something that they know is not going to go down well, and they'll say, we're going to charge you X amount suddenly, because we're going to suddenly do a double season pass, and you have to buy both, the gold one and the platinum one. I'm just making this up, but anyway, it'll happen sometime. And they're different money, but you get the same thing as you got from the one pass before, but you've got to pay twice. And then when there's a big backlash, which they needed to be, they'll say, oh my God, we've listened to people, we didn't understand, but now we're going to charge half price for one of the new passes. And a lot of people will either not really think about it, because some people will just be playing the game they love and they won't care about the money, and they're just so invested in the game, which is fair enough. And some people will think, oh great, they've backed down, we've got a good deal. But you haven't, because you're still paying half more than you were before. You're just paying half less than they originally tried to extort from you. And that's clever. And they do that a lot. I've seen that so often recently with different games where they've said they want a huge change and everyone's like, oh my God, that's ridiculous, we're not going to play anymore. And then they'll change it, not back to the original, but back to something that still benefits them, and you're still paying or having to do more, but less than what you were expecting to have to do in the first place. And that's clever. It's clever marketing. It's not nice, it's scummy, but it's clever. And by doing that, over time, they will get to the point, because the next time they'll do that, they'll say, we want double this, triple that, and then they'll back down. But what they'll back down to is the point that they originally wanted this time, which is to get double, if that makes sense. So they'll get what they want now, but they'll just inflate it the next time and then back down to this point. And each time they'll do that, they'll move on a few more steps to what they want, get a bit more money. They won't get exactly what they want, so they'll back down. Then next time they'll make another ridiculous demand, back down to the thing they actually wanted the last time they tried that. And if we look back in 5 years' time from the future, we'll see how much has changed and how many things that, you know, at one point we were like, oh my God, no, and they backed down on, has actually come into play, because later on they brought it in anyway. We've tied in with some other even more ridiculous things they didn't do. If we look back 5 years now, look at how monetarised and ridiculous games can be. Look at all the ridiculous DLCs you get and the ridiculous skins you get. You know, there was, you know, a fancy horse in a game, wasn't it? That started it kind of, and then there's all these different, you know, games where you can literally pay for each colour of a skin and things like that. So it's got ridiculous, and that's not counting pay to win and live service and da-da-da. So if we look back 5 years, look at what it is now, we wouldn't have expected that, but we've let it go. And if you went into the future and looked back from 5 years in the future, imagine what it's going to be like then. So anyway, that's my thoughts, that's what I've seen, and I just, like I said, video game companies, or whatever else they might be, they're not stupid, and they know exactly what they're doing, and a lot of the things they do are well pre-planned. A lot of the things they do, they plan when they make the games or when they release the games, and they know exactly what they're doing, and they've already thought through what's going to happen. And like I said, a lot of that is down to there's also already pre-sales as well, so they've already sold rubbish games, and they don't need to worry about it. Anyway, thanks for watching Gaming for Gamers. And until next time, take care for now.